Hello everybody, good evening and welcome to the United Stand. This is the latest Manchester United news and transfer news as we talk about a deadline set by Manchester United in relation to De Jong. The next few days will be key. Also, Fabrizio Romano talking about Manchester United having a very active transfer window. How active will it really be? Or an update on goalkeepers, maybe a shock centre defensive midfield option coming in as well. And also a major shock defensive sale that would send shockwaves not only through the Premier League, but I think the universe. So lots to talk about. We'll be opening up about De Jong, but of course, it is in the top left-hand corner. You can see it's Manscaped. We always get excited about a Manscaped integration, and you just fasten your seatbelts because summer is nearly here. The sun is shining and shirts are off, and your balls need to be smooth. You heard that right. Your friends at Manscaped are here to make sure your beach balls are as smooth as tropical sand. You know what? In the summer, when you're walking around in your Speedos, you don't want anything popping out. And ultimately, that's why you need to be using Manscaped. Performance Package 4.0 to keep the party in your pants. That's where it needs to be. Trim the grass to make the yard look bigger and dive headfirst into summer by joining 4 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped by going to manscaped.com and using the code UNITEDSTAND for 20% off and free shipping. It sounds like something else that does. Not that I'd know. The Manscaped Performance Package has everything you need to prepare this summer. It keeps turning itself on. Inside the package, you'll find the Lawnmower 4.0 trimmer, Weed Whacker ear and nose trimmer, which is this, Crop Preserver, ball deodorant, Crop Revival toner, performance boxer briefs and a travel bag. Their Lawnmower 4.0 trimmer features a cutting-edge ceramic blade to reduce grooming accidents thanks to their advanced skin-safe technology. The Lawnmower 4.0 has a 7,000 RPM motor, a new multifunctional on and off switch can engage a travel lock and gives you the ability to turn the 400,000K LED spotlight on and off when needed for a more precise chase. Did I mention the trim is also waterproof as well? Manscaped even throw in 2 free gifts to their performance package for you, the Manscaped boxers and the Shed travel bag that will bring your comfort to another level. And because Manscaped care about everyone that watches the United Stand, they're giving you a huge 20% off plus free shipping when you use the code United Stand at checkout. So what are you waiting for? Head to the link in the description, or even more conveniently, hold up your camera phone to the QR code on the screen and you can be ordering straight away. Trim the grass to make the yard look bigger. They really are fantastic products. And in these hot summer months, it will make you feel cooler where it matters. Thanks for watching. And thanks to Manscaped. Check it out. Really good products. Right, let's get into the show. United certainly need to trim some areas in their squad this year, but we also need to expand in other areas. And so look, we're going to start off with De Jong. Lots of stories around De Jong today. Wanted to speak to somebody before I went live, so I've left it till the evening show on this. And look, we are heading into a crucial, I'm tempted to say few days. There was always when this story broke, there was always mention of the end of May. Well, the end of May is 5 days away, so you've got the weekend and early next week. Now, I think we're going to get something with De Jong by Wednesday next week, some sort of decision. It's been a really, look, I'm 75% sure we'll get him simply because nothing's happened since that big story that we wanted him. There's been nobody, no journalist, no club brief, no Barcelona brief, no statement from De Jong or anything to say I'm staying at Barcelona or Manchester United are not in for him. I would have expected one of those things. This has been rumbling on for just over 2 weeks now. So until we get that, I still believe we're trying to do something here. De Jong's agent or De Jong could have come out, put something out there. We're not leaving Barcelona. We're not signing for Manchester United. Barcelona could have come out and said, we're not selling him under any circumstances. He's a huge part of our team. Or Manchester United could have briefed it, or a journalist they've got, they can brief it and come out and say Man United categorically are not in for Frenkie de Jong. All you've got to do is give it to Simon Stone or a Laurie Whitwell, one of these journalists that, are fed information from the club, and, they could have easily done it. But that's not happened. So the deal is still alive. But speaking to somebody this afternoon, they said to me that this deal has to be resolved quickly for Manchester United. They cannot let this be a Jadon Sancho. They cannot let it be a Bruno Fernandes or anything like that. It's got to be, are you coming to Manchester United? Because we're busy. And if you're not coming, we probably, it was a dream to get you anyway. The thing about dreams is they don't always come true. So United have set a deadline to Barcelona. Now, is that deadline manoeuvrable? Well, look, if De Jong says he's definitely going to come and Barcelona say, can you give us a couple of weeks just to sort some things out before we announce the deal, then I'm sure United would do that. But I think this is about conversations between Barcelona, Manchester United and De Jong, and they want Barcelona to say, look, are you going to sell him and what price? And De Jong, are you going to come to the club? And I think if it's a no from either of them by the middle of next week, United will walk. They will walk. They will not attach themselves to this deal and they will walk away. So that's where we are. And I mean, from a fan point of view, do we need that finality? I don't think we necessarily do. I think that if we want to go off and get a Lema and a Timber and a striker and then De Jong becomes available at the end of June, what's the problem? I'm not actually that bothered about us saying, look, you're either join us or you're not next week. If we can go off and do some other business and maybe revisit it. But I suppose United need to know if De Jong's going to come in, because he's probably going to be their marquee signing if he does come in, and if they're not going to get him, they probably got a backup. Good evening, Mark. Hope you're good, says Offset. Yeah, it's nice to be doing a Thursday night show, actually. Yeah, it's nice to do a Thursday night show. Hi, Mark. Love the show. Slightly off topic, but will you be back on TalkSport again soon, says Ryan. Very soon. Very soon. I'll keep you updated with that. Be very soon. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Mazia has just gifted 20 United Stand memberships. And what a legend he is. If you benefited from that, everyone should be saying Team Mazia. But more importantly, you voted as the members on the community tab today for tomorrow's video. You had 4 options and you voted for Ten Hag's Ajax last season compared to Manchester United last season. I've just been working on it. I've not filmed it yet. I'll film it in the morning and it will go out tomorrow lunchtime. I've just been working on all the stats and everything. Really interesting video. Really looking forward to it. So that'll be out tomorrow. So if you are a new member who's been gifted by Mazia, you'll get to see that tomorrow. What a legend. Get a haircut, Danny, says Carl Martin. I need a haircut as well. So yeah, in relation to Frenkie de Jong, I think the next few days are going to be crucial. I can't promise you that we're going to get him. As I said, I'm 75% sure that we will. But if he comes out and says he's not coming, that percentage will drop. I've always left that 25% for that decision. I do think Barcelona will do a deal. I do think they'll do a deal. I think they'll do a deal for about 65 million, if I'm honest. I'd like to get him down to 60. Maybe we could do 60 with add-ons, but I do think Barcelona will do a deal. I think it's on De Jong. And we let's move. Let's see what happens with it. Hi, Mark. Do you reckon we'll go in for Ziyech? Could be the kind of left-footed right winger we need. Maybe a great deal at 30 million. You know what, Sakin? It's the same as Werner this morning. I like Werner, and I wouldn't be opposed to United signing him. This is where trust in your manager comes in. I think there's a player in Werner. I don't think we'll move for him, but if we went for him, I'd go, I can see what he's doing there. Same with Ziyech. Ziyech is a player that, at times for Chelsea, I think he's been really, really good. And I just think that maybe the system at Chelsea, maybe the fact that they've got Havertz, Pulisic, Hudson-Odoi, got so many options that they seem to tinker with their team quite a lot. Whereas Ziyech may be a player that just needs, fluidity to feel that he's going to play every week. So I don't think Ziyech's been a failure at Chelsea. I just think that the consistency's not been there. Jordan, welcome to the Members Club and also to Coach Zed. Thank you very much for tuning in. So that's your latest on the situation with Frenkie de Jong. I do want to get into some of your questions tonight, so I just want to whiz through some of the news. Just very, very quickly, we won't be dwelling on this one for very long. The situation I want to talk about this midfielder that we might be looking at, and I want to talk about this defender that we might be selling, which is quite big shock news. But there was a development on the goalkeeping situation with Dean Henderson today. Dean Henderson to Newcastle is moving closer and closer. But Darlow, one of their reserve goalkeepers, was mentioned as being part of the deal, as coming to United as a reserve goalkeeper. And then we heard that Henderson doesn't want to go on a permanent deal. He wants to go on a loan deal because he still sees himself as United's future keeper. Well, we're all going to have opinions on this. My opinion on this is that Dean Henderson probably needs to stop thinking about being Manchester United's goalkeeper, because ultimately, what evidence is there that you are? Like, you had a very good season at Sheffield United, but Ben Foster's been good at Watford, Pope's been good at Burnley, Pickford's done okay at Everton at times. Doesn't mean they're good enough to be Man United goalkeeper. Man United, Liverpool, Man City and Chelsea goalkeeper is not there for English goalkeepers, is it? Like, none of them are English goalkeepers. And I don't think there is an English goalkeeper that's good enough to play for the top 4 teams. So I think Dean Henderson's belief in himself is one of his biggest assets, but I don't think you're good enough, mate. And I think that ultimately, if we're going to replace De Gea, I'm 100% on board with that over the next year or two. But I don't think Dean Henderson's the right man. And this is where this debate on Twitter for the last 6 months has been coming from, this whole Dean Henderson cult against De Gea. I've always said this. I'm more than willing to have the conversation about replacing De Gea over the next 2 years. But I don't think Dean Henderson's the goalkeeper to do it. I really don't. I think we should be looking at somebody who is really, really, really good and up and coming, like we did with De Gea all those years ago. And I don't see Dean Henderson as that. The second thing I would say as well is we cannot be loaning a goalkeeper who's going to be trying his best on loan for a season for a rival to try and get the United goalkeeping job in a year's time. If he wants to go on loan for a year, send him abroad or send him to a team in the bottom half. But don't send him to Newcastle, who hypothetically could be a team that actually ends up competing with us. Also, we need to raise some money this summer, and we can get 30 million for him, which is invaluable to our transfer budget. Ashley, welcome to the members club. Also, welcome to Jamin. Joshua Bauer says Barcelona's my final offer for De Jong is 65 million or 100 million plus Harry Maguire. We'll get on to that, Joshua. Suggestion: delegate a presenter to be the youth expert and have youth-focused videos once a month or maybe quarterly. Could be members only. This would entice me to become a member, says Jason. There we go. Thank you for the idea. I don't like this De Jong deal at all, says Sean Turner. We aren't there yet. Buy Lamer for quarter of the price and buy another midfielder with the other 30 million, 40 million. We've got to be smart. Oh, Sakin, thank you very much. He's just gifted 5 United Stand memberships. Big shout out to Sakin, your legend. And Jaden says, Mark, do you know who will be the CDM? For years now, the boys have been avoiding that position. Shame on them. De Jong is not a DM, but a defensive-minded CM. Yeah, he's not a DM, Jaden Sancho. I think that's a very good point. There is absolutely no point in pretending that Frenkie de Jong is going to sit in front of the back four and dictate the play. You'd be taking away a lot of what he's about. MG, welcome to the members club. So yes, the Dean Henderson thing needs to be resolved. I think for him and United, the best thing is that he's sold. I don't agree with him being loaned to Newcastle because they basically get a free goalkeeper who could be really good and help them get into the finish above United. If they're going to finish above United, they should pay us for it and we should get a transfer fee. And also, as I said, if we are looking to replace De Gea, I've never really thought that Dean Henderson is a valuable replacement. I actually think if we did give him a run in the team, it could end up being a nightmare. So I think we need to buy somebody, to be honest with you. But we'll see what happens on that one. Also, yes, let's talk about the CDM. Now, you may have seen River Plate won a game, I think it was last night. Alvarez, who was a player that Rangnick recommended to Manchester United and actually signed for Man City. I think he scored 6 goals last night. 6 goals. I mean, not only have they got Erling Haaland, they've now gone and got this Alvarez from River Plate, who looks like he's going to be the next Aguero. So Man City and Liverpool making elite recruitment decisions. But also at River Plate is a midfielder called Enzo Fernandez. Now, he's been heavily linked to Benfica, which makes a lot of sense. You get a lot of South American signings going and playing for Benfica. Or in the Portuguese league, and they are rumoured to be leading the race. However, Manchester United have been consistently linked to him, as have Real Madrid, as have Manchester City. I'd keep an eye on Enzo Fernandez. Again, I wouldn't be surprised if this is a player that Rangnick has recommended. I wouldn't be surprised if it's a player that Erik ten Hag likes. I've never seen him play. I've just read bits and looked at little bits, but he looks like he's a player that could be really interesting. We've never really had a major success in these type of signings, not even from South America. I'm not put off by the fact that he's from South America. I just don't think United do this very well at all, ever. Buying non-Premier League players who are in their early 20s or 20, who've got really good reputations, bringing them to United and developing them and them going to the next level. And the big reason we've not been able to do that is because certainly under Solskjaer and Mourinho as well, let's be honest, Mourinho and Solskjaer, who have been our last 6 years, are not developers of players. They're not. They're just not very good at developing players. That's not to say that they haven't done it, but they're not very good at it. We've now got a manager who is a developer, and I want to see United buying more of these players over the next 3 years. We do buy a lot of youth players, 15, 16-year-olds. We do buy a lot of marquee players, hoping they're just going to make us better straight away. What we need to do is start buying talent that is already playing first-team football somewhere, whether it is an Enzo Fernandez at River Plate, whether it is an Nkunku at RB Leipzig, whether it is a Timber at Ajax. You buy these players who are ready to take the next step, who have proven themselves in first-team football, and then you bring them to Manchester United, and what's a 20 million player becomes a 60 million player over the next 2 years. And that's what United need to do. It's what Liverpool have been brilliant at, and this is what we need to do. So I'd be very excited by Enzo Fernandez coming to Manchester United. Whether it'll happen or not, let's keep an eye on it. Again, he's another player that's probably going to cost you about 20 million. I think he's got a release clause of around that. But ultimately, 20 million is not a lot of money these days. And if he is a player that's well scouted with potential, you're putting him under a developer like Eric Ten Hag. These are the sort of deals I think that will excite fans a lot more than spending, 70, 80 million, 90 million on, more marquee signings. Mark says, this is going to be a very exciting and important couple of weeks. I think, what do you think we will make our first signing? Also, can you call Lucy a Pratt? Says Mark. Thank you very much. Grant Mitchell, welcome to the Members Club. How's Phil? Andy Reese, welcome to the Members Club. Mayo, thank you as well. And do you think Ten Hag is the type of manager to stand up to the Glazers if he does not get the support transfer he needs? Yeah, well, look, I want to talk about the Glazers, so we'll talk about that in a minute. Going back to what Mark Turner said about it being a busy couple of weeks, I don't know about that. I think our first signing will be Timber. I've always felt that. And whether it will be a busy next couple of weeks, I don't know. I don't actually know whether it will be a busy next couple of weeks. Remind me when the transfer window opens, because it might be that... I think June will be busy, but it's what period? I was thinking about this today. Bit of a tickly throat there. I was thinking about this today. Remember that summer where we bought Schweinsteiger and Schneidlin, I think on the same day? It'd be nice if we got that sort of activity this transfer window where we're doing things a lot on the same day. Very close together. Nathan says, maybe my naivety, but I think with Woodward and Judge gone, we aren't getting the real figure on how much we have to spend. Not saying it's 200 million, but I think we have more than the 120 being touted, says Nathan. Well, no, Nathan makes a great point there. It's very important that Manchester United don't let it be known how much we've got to spend. In some ways, this disciplined and, a few rumours dropping that it might be 80 million isn't a bad idea, because the reality is, if you've got 150 million pounds to spend and you're negotiating for players, you don't want clubs to know you've got 150 million pounds to spend, because then they're going to go, yeah, we'll add another 10 on. We'll add another 10 on. Mark, United really are too quiet right now in the market. I feel this board will not deliver, says Offset. Hi Mark, do you think Man United is going to go for Kante? Oh, well, we had a story about Kante a couple of weeks ago. It's gone very cold since then, and it was a Sunday morning story, so I think it's probably a load of crap. But, we'll have to wait and see. Maziar says we need Timber. Extremely talented, only 20. I'll have to gift another 20 memberships to prove the significance of this. Well, if you are a member, and Mazia has gifted them, check out last week's video comparing Timber to Torres. It will give you a really brief but thorough journey into what Timber's all about, and I think you'll be very excited. In fact, I don't know whether you saw Marco van Basten, scorer of one of the greatest goals I've ever seen. Marco van Basten talking about Timber, very, 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 very good comments about how he plays football. Just going back to the budget, though, I don't know whether you saw it today. The Glazers have apparently allocated another 11 million in dividends. Now, there was a rumoured 10 in January. So this would be another year where the Glazers have taken between 10 and 20 million pounds out of this football club. The debt still runs into hundreds of millions of pounds. Now, the Glazers will fight tooth and nail. Mazzy has just gifted another 20. Are you Zayn in disguise? Are you Zayn in disguise? No, he's a legend. Thank you very much. Welcome to the new members. Bok, thank you for the super chat. And also, would you buy Matty Cash from Villa? No, they said it. No, he won't come anyway because he only went there a year ago. I think Matty Cash is at his level with Villa. Let's see what he can do this season with Villa, who've been very active in the transfer window already. They brought Kamara in on free. They brought another centre-back in from Sevilla. They're after Bissouma still. I said watch out for Villa. I've been talking about transfers for the last few months, and I said, it's not just what Man City and Liverpool and Chelsea are going to do and what we're going to do. Newcastle will be active. Villa will be active and are active. Everton will be now. And then you've got Villa and Spurs. So there's loads of clubs who are going to be operating around the same budget as us. And we're going to have to be active. We're going to have to be very clever about what we do. But I do think United are an enticing project. 3 years ago, Solskjaer was not a big draw. Players around Europe were not going, I can't wait to come to Manchester United and play for Solskjaer, the sacked Cardiff coach. Whereas now, I was speaking to an agent about this a few days ago, and they were like, look, there is a lot of positivity around United. Woodward's gone, Matt Judge has gone. They were the face of the club, representative-wise, and they weren't very well received. Also, Solskjaer's gone. You've now got one of the best up-and-coming managers in Europe. There's real change at United, and players are excited. So look, we need to play on that. We really do. But going back to what I was talking about the transfer budget. Remember what I said this morning about how Manchester United, on August the 31st, we will be able to judge this club. We know Ten Hag's hungry. We know that Murta and Arnold want change. But the Glazers run the club. And if the Glazers say to Murta and Arnold and Ten Hag, you've got 60 million to spend and that's it, doesn't matter how exciting or how many great statements you make, you can't do nothing with 60 million. If they give them 150 million, now we're talking. We're going to find this out on August the 31st. But if the Glazers are taking £11 million out this summer and whatever they took out in January, you're telling me they're only going to give Ten Hag 60, 70, 80 million when they've just took 11 themselves. Maybe that's a good sign that there is a lot of money that's going to be made available for Ten Hag. Because I'll tell you what, if they're taking 11 million in dividends this summer and they're not going to give Ten Hag anything, it's going to be big trouble next season, and it'll be all on the Glazers. The Glazers have been lucky since the Super League that the players have taken a lot of the blame. The Glazers need to get it right this summer. Otherwise, big trouble ahead. Mark, do you think Richarlison's attitude comments could be the same as Martial's attitude comments? Don't know how I feel about signing him. Jay, I think ultimately it's up to Manchester United what they do about Richarlison. I didn't like his tweets about, was he having a pop at, was it Carragher or something? I just think it comes across as quite... I don't like his attitude. I think he's a diver. I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if he's sponsored by Speedo. He treats the football pitch like a swimming pool. I don't really want that type of player. I love Bruno Fernandes. His attitude this season has stunk. I don't really want another player bringing in like that. Does Mazio want to buy the club? Says Pandey. And did you see the club hired an inspector to find the leaks of the H2O variety? They should hire a game hunter to seek out all the snakes, says Glenn. Well, I did read that headline. So United have recruited a leak expert, but actually a genuine leak around Old Trafford's roof. I thought they were doing it because of the leaks in the dressing room. In your opinion, is the silence around transfers due to secrecy with the new board and transfer setup, or indecision over target, says Brandon? Well, I can tell you for a fact that Manchester United's... I've not spoken to John Murta or anything like that, but I know for a fact that Manchester United, from speaking to people who normally get information, I know for a fact that Manchester United's very different this transfer window to what it's been like for the last 5. Not a lot of information's coming out. This is frustrating to people, but it's actually probably quite a good thing. I don't think it's down to indecision. I do think the reason that Erik ten Hag has been with United for the last 2 weeks is to iron out a lot of the strategy. And of course, transfers will be involved in that. But also, I think they're very clear about players that they want. They do want De Jong and they do want Timber. That's 2 they really want. It appears they want Nkunku. Now, whether they can get any of those players or not, when you don't get your number 1 targets, of course that can make your transfer window harder. So I do think United know who they want. I don't think the silence is because of indecision. The proof will be in the pudding on how quickly we act and what we get. Hi Mark, if Tottenham are spending 150 million and Chelsea 200 million, then surely the Glazers will want to outcompete them by spending bigger, says United. Well, I don't know about that. The Glazers have taken 400 million in dividends since they bought us. The debt is still close to 600 million. On the anniversary of this special day from 99, I feel we'll never see those heights again, says Adam. I've always said it. I'm not really in the mindset at the moment, but I've always said it. I feel that Manchester United, and I'm sure many people agree with this, no matter who's in charge of United, I don't think it's possible to be successful under the Glazers anymore. We were successful under the Glazers, but that's because we had a manager who I think could be successful with any situation. I don't know whether it's possible in the modern game to win major trophies with the Glazers. I think we're about to find out. Mark, what do you think about Paqueta from Lyon and Tielemans as midfield options? Well, we're not linked to them, Sean, from California, but I'm sure we've all got lots of... look, the midfield options at the moment are very difficult to predict. If you want my honest opinion, and I don't really have a lot of information around this, De Jong is clearly the number 1 target. We've spoken about that transfer deadline at the start of the show. And then I would say, if I was predicting who we're looking at, Neves, Enzo Fernandez, Lema. They're the most logical ones. But there's no information about that. You know, The only other one was Calvin Phillips, but I don't think that's a reality. Barca are delaying the renewal of some key players like Gavi because they're limited to financial fair play. They'd accept 65 million euros for De Jong. Let's see what happens, Mario. Great response on that. With that being said, could we see Liverpool Fabinho type situations linked at dinner time signed by midnight, says Brandon. I hope so. I hope that. I mean, I've got to be honest, I'm not stressed by this transfer window. I think some United fans are. Maybe some of you in the chat are. That doesn't mean I'm not going to get stressed. If we get to like the back end of June and we've done nothing, I will be worried. But I think, 26th of May, plenty of time. I do think we'll get an early deal done. I think we'll get a signing in by the end of next week. I just have a feeling we will. And then I'm expecting a steady run of signings. I mean, really, by the start of June, you want 3 in. Sorry, July. By the time we come back for pre-season, you want 3 in. And then maybe you get a couple more in July and August. I mean, it's not realistic that we're going to sign 5 players before the start of July. And it's not realistic to say that we're going to get every deal done by the start of July, because there will be some opportunities in late July and August as clubs scramble around once the season started, and we might be able to take opportunities. So look, I'd love to sign 5 players before the tour, and then you can work. But the reality is, I think United will keep an open mind as the transfer window progresses. But I do think we've got to get 3 in, 3 big ones in, 3 important players in. Mark, the optimism over Ten Hag is happening too soon. He can't use McFred. We need De Jong, says Mark Friedman. Amrit's been a member for 10 minutes. With De Jong, do we want to risk getting another player who really doesn't want to be here? Amrit, welcome to the Members Club, Eric. I don't want to repeat myself. I feel like UK Gold, but I disagree with this. I do disagree with this. The advantage of I've absorbed transfer windows like a sponge all my life. When I was at secondary school, I used to get home from school when I was like 12, and I'd go on page 312 on teletext, which is something most of you won't even know about. Basically, you used to press text on your remote controller, and these, your TV would change to this typed stuff, and then you'd type in page numbers. Page 312 was transfer news. I loved it. I've always loved transfers. Some people hate it. Some people love it. I've always loved transfers. They used to have these bloody. It was a rip off. You'd ring up these call lines, Man United transfer news, and it'd just be complete shit. Absolute nonsense. So I love transfer windows and Championship Manager, Sensible Soccer. I loved all these games. So, but the great thing about that is that you become very well versed in transfers, and sometimes it's like when I was a detective. To be blunt, once you've dealt with a certain crime a few times, they start to repeat themselves, and that's how you become good, because you get used to the evidential chain. And with transfers, it's the same. You see a transfer and you go, "Oh, I remember this from a few years ago. This is what's happening." So with De Jong not wanting to come to Manchester United, it doesn't concern me as much as a Di Maria, because Di Maria came to United because PSG couldn't afford him. He didn't want to come to Manchester United, and then he ended up at PSG. It was a complete mercenary move, and I don't think De Jong's going to come to Manchester United in those circumstances. I think he would just go somewhere else if he's not going to come to Manchester United. So I don't think we're the only hat in the ring. I think if we can persuade him, he'll come. And Man United's got, our fan base, Old Trafford, away, worldwide. It doesn't take long for our fan base to make a player that's maybe not so sure fall in love with the place, and I think he would do. But I don't think he'll sign for us unless he's on board. And remember, he's played for Eric Ten Hag before, so I wouldn't worry about that. And look, there's plenty of examples. But Rooney was rumoured to be going to Newcastle, and we came in. Roy Keane had agreed to go to Blackburn with Kenny Dalglish. Kenny Dalglish went away at the weekend. Sir Alex swooped in and he came to us. Players change their mind. They can be persuaded, so I'm not worried about that. What about Garner, says Mark Friedman. Welcome to the Members Club, Eric Ten Hag. We'll see with Garner. I spoke about Garner earlier. We'll have to wait and see what happens with him. Lots of things incoming. Equally important to sell the Deadwood, says Pranav. And teletext, you're dating yourself there, Mark. I'm 24 and still remember teletext. Really, Sam? That makes me feel a lot better. I thought teletext went out in the 90s. It's funny, though, some of the things that, you're so blessed. You lot are so blessed. The younger generation. You are blessed. I one of the reasons I started the United Stand was because after a United game, I'd gone BBC 606. It was a website forum, and you'd start your own topic, and you'd go, Sir Alex shouldn't have subbed off Beckham or something like that, and then you'd write a paragraph. Sir Alex is losing it. Beckham should have been playing, and then you'd have to wait for a reply. And you keep refreshing, and then someone would reply, and then you do that. The modern world's great. You can just tweet something and you've got instant people replying. Or you can do stuff like this. Ronaldo was going to City before he went. Yeah. Sir Nigel Farage, yeah. You're absolutely right. So yeah, I'm not particularly worried about the whole De Jong thing. De Jong with Neves, Bissouma, Sangar thoughts. Well, you know Sangar, or however you pronounce it, he's at PSV, isn't he? So Liverpool are after him now. And fair play to the community, because I haven't seen a lot of this lad, but loads of you have. And you've been on about what a good player he is. And Liverpool are looking at him now. Justin Morton, welcome to the Members Club. Thank you very much for that. People are begging for memberships now. You'll have to. I'll tell you what, I'm going to do some tomorrow night. I'll gift some tomorrow night as a Friday night treat. I'll gift 20 tomorrow night. But yeah. You know, it's like a membership lottery, really, isn't it? Anyway, on to our next story. I'm going to talk about United being very active in a minute, and this is from Romano. But I mean, I had to double check this. In fact, I might just double check it now, because I still think I'm being trolled. So before I come out with this, I don't want to troll myself absolutely live on TV here. But I've just got to check if this is true before I do it. Is it true? Maybe I have been trolled. Maybe I have been trolled then, because I need to know what I need to know about this. So effectively, there was a story that came out about Harry Maguire and Barcelona. And yeah, okay. So Harry Maguire has been rumoured as a surprise option for Barcelona, but so far it is not a realistic option. So this is from Fabrizio Romano. Harry Maguire will have direct conversation with Ten Hag in the coming days to understand the club's plans and his future. Harry Maguire has been rumoured as a surprise option for FC Barcelona, but so far is not a realistic option. And this is from a Twitter account, Managing Barca, quoting Fabrizio Romano, caught offside. So Harry Maguire has been rumoured as a surprise option for Barcelona, but it is not so far not seen as a regular option. Yeah, I mean, I can categorically tell you that if you don't think that Harry Maguire is suitable for Ten Hag, there's absolutely no way he is a Barcelona centre-back. If we could do a De Jong for Harry Maguire swap deal, this would be like swapping a fridge for a Ferrari. And I think Harry Maguire could do a good job for a Newcastle or a Burnley. Well, not in the Championship. You know, I think Harry Maguire could do a good job for an Everton or a Newcastle, an Aston Villa. You know, I don't genuinely think he's a top 4 centre-back. I don't think Chelsea or Liverpool or Man City, Arsenal, Spurs would use him. But I do think he could play for a Villa or an Everton or something like that. But literally, you know, I don't like the fridge nickname, by the way, but it came to, you know, sometimes you have to act on your feet, and it would be like swapping a fridge for a Ferrari, or it'd be like swapping a Big Mac for a banquet meal. It's like, if there's so many clubs in the world that I think about that would buy Harry Maguire, and it would not be Barcelona. Barcelona, we can talk about our heritage, we can talk about our style of football, but Barcelona have a heritage and a style of football, and it's not Harry Maguire. So, look, if Barcelona ring up for you, mate, bloody take the deal. Got Barcelona, what a place to go and live. 29 years of age, go and live in Barcelona with your family, massive money, amazing club, amazing ground. If they want you, I'd be all over it. But I absolutely don't know why. I mean, I have to read it again. I still cannot believe that Fabrizio Romano has said that. You know, it's not realistic, but there's been a rumour about it. Look, absolutely no chance of that happening. No chance at all. I don't think people like Harry Maguire, Scott McTominay, Marcus Rashford, Bruno Fernandes whatever you think about them, they know where their bread is buttered. They're on great money at United. They're on long contracts at United. They ain't going to go anywhere. They're not going to go anywhere. And I don't think they're ambitious enough to go anywhere else. I really don't. I think they've got their feet under the table at United. It's a comfortable life on good money. Amazing. I mean, Harry Maguire was tweeting today about a Man United app. I don't think he is tweeting because he's on holiday. But, you know, we've had an absolutely shit season where most of our team, including him, have been shit. And it's like they think the season's over so they can tweet crap again. What are you tweeting about an app for? I mean, they just don't know how to read the room at all. They don't know how to read the room. They think because the season's over, United fans are going to go, it's fine. We're in transfer zone now. No, it's not fine. It's not fine at all. But this is one of the reasons they won't leave. I don't think they're thinking about their careers. They're thinking about their wage packets. They're thinking about the size of the club. And I think they're well and truly settled. If they were ambitious, then maybe they would leave. But I don't think that they will. Harry would be amazing at Barcelona. Mark's just kidding. If you're listening, he's a fabulous, speedy centre-back. Yeah, look, if we've got any Barcelona representatives watching, you'd be a fool not to swap De Jong. Straight money. Harry Maguire for De Jong is a bargain. An absolute bargain. And you know what? Please don't do it because we would be distraught. I don't think it's going to work. Are we still in for Nunez? Don't think he's good enough, to be honest. He's got a very four-post touch. No, I think we're definitely in. We're definitely in for Nunez, but we'll have to wait and see with the forward. I mean, look, there's a lot to be excited about in the transfer window. One thing Fabrizio Romano did say is that Manchester United are in for a very active summer transfer window. But I suppose it's what you define as active. And I think it's as good a time as ever to just reiterate that the transfer window, how do you define active? Active could be spending £100 million on one player. Active could be buying 5 players. Active could be buying 2 players but removing 10. I think United's summer will be defined by what each individual fan thinks is a good summer. For me, I will repeat what I've said before. I believe 5 signings, 5 new players and 10 out players, 10 outgoings and 5 ingoings would be a summer I expect. Now I'm not in bloody including Lee Grant. I know Lee Grant's left today. I mean, I can't even remember him playing for United, so I'm not counting him. I mean 10 players that have actually played games for the club out and 5 new signings. And that's what I would describe as a good summer for United. I think a great summer would be 6 signings and 13 out. But I think an underwhelming summer would be 3 signings and 8 out. You know, we do need to be double figures with players out, and we do need to be more above 4 on players in. Did you see VVD say that Nunez has been one of his tough... must be Van Dijk. Nunez has been one of his toughest opponents. Also, are you happy about De Gea's new contract extension deal? I am, Salah. I think it's... I'll repeat what I said this morning. De Gea's got 2 years left on his deal. This makes him have 3 years left on his deal. It's literally a 1 year thing. And it just protects the club with De Gea that if we decide to bring a goalkeeper in next summer, then he might run his contract down for 1 year. But if we bring a goalkeeper in next summer, then he might want to leave, but he's got 2 years. If United did a swap deal with De Jong, Arnold and Murta would become instant club legends, says Daniel Kirk. And what are you on about, Daniel? If they did a swap deal for Harry Maguire for De Jong, I'd be fuming. That'd be steal of the century by Barcelona. I'd be absolutely fuming. If Barcelona swooped in and took Harry Maguire and only gave us De Jong in return, I tell you what, I shall say, oi, Barcelona, you've had a bloody right bargain there. You should be well happy with yourselves. And when you've left the room with Maguire for your party and your sangria, we're all going to be crying saying we've only got De Jong. Get the champagne out. Mark, would you drive Harry to Barcelona if your deal happened? Well, I'd have to get a ferry because there is a sea journey there, Marcus. But I'm willing to drive him. Barcelona good at set pieces, 10 times better with Maguire, says John. Look, I tell you what, never say never in football. But if Barcelona want Harry Maguire should be sorting that deal out. I would bloody love to go and play for Barcelona. What a great way. What a great deal. Like that would be. You know, what a deal. And if he went there and did okay, Hi, I mean, look, Spanish football's very different to the Premier League. Hi, bro. Me and my bros have been chatting in the summer. We're going to sign Cleverly for 89 million and Cody for 80 million, Welbeck for 70 million. I think that's good, says Avram Glazer. Harold and 8-Bit Lemon, welcome to the Members Club. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for that. But yeah, don't take our captain, Barcelona. Look, I personally think the future of Harry Maguire will be at Manchester United. He may well be a starter next year. He may well improve. And if that's the case, then, you know, he will, like any player that's been criticised this year, it is completely look in the mirror time because you deserve it. And if you want praise, then you need to perform on the pitch. We can't hand praise out just because it's a sympathy vote. We have to hand it out because you're good enough to wear a United shirt. And if these players think they've been hard done by, the reality is you haven't. It's the worst ever Manchester United Premier League side, and the only two players that come out of this season with any credit is Ronaldo and De Gea. Everybody else has to take a long, hard look at themselves. Some more than others, I agree. Hi, Mark. You put up a tweet of Tchouaméni being 80 million and United should rather go for Rice than him. So are we actually interested in him or not, says Vikran. No. I mean, so look, Tchouaméni could well be going to Real Madrid for 80 million. And my point on that was that, you know, a lot of us liked the look of Tchouaméni, but United have never been in for him anyway. But if we spent £80 million on Tchouaméni, my point was, we've all gone, let's not spend 90 on Declan Rice. And actually, if you're spending 80 on Tchouaméni, I mean, you may as well spend 90 on Declan Rice, but that's not the sort of signing we want to do this summer. So what I was basically saying is, look, Tchouaméni would have been a good signing for United, but not for 80 million. You know, again, you're using a huge amount of your transfer budget, and I don't think United can afford to do that. It's 80 million euros, not pounds. I still think 70 million is too much for Tchouaméni. I do. I mean, look, he looks good, but he's doing it in the French league. Bringing him to the Premier League, if he flopped, that would be, you know, it wouldn't be, there'd be a lot of people criticising that. McFred for De Jong would be more than fair, says Jim. No, I don't know about Jim. Don't put that idea into Barcelona's mind. Don't let them think about McFred for De Jong. Oh my God, imagine. Oh, they'd be getting the bargain of the decade. Mark, can you post more stuff to Facebook as well, says Nigel Green. Yeah, we'll try to do that. We should be doing that. I don't know why we're not doing that. I will write that down. I don't run any United Stand socials apart from my own. So, yeah, we will definitely chase that up. Thank you. Always looking for feedback. Barcelona would definitely sign Maguire for a cut price or make weight for De Jong, says Bobby. Well, they can have him. You know, I think it'd be a great deal. I'm all over it if they want to do it. But, you know, will we get a shock deal in the summer transfer window? I don't know. To be honest with you. Happy birthday to our great moderator, Sally Devil Red 7, says Renate. Yeah, big shout out to Sally. In fact, I've not been in the group today. I've been very busy, but I'm glad that you reminded me of that, Renate. Big shout out to Sally, one of our moderators. Happy birthday. Hope you have a great day. And lots of people saying it in the chat. Are we keeping Palestri this season? He is a player that Ten Hag can really develop into a star player, says George. I think Palestri and Diallo, Palestri and Ahmad are two really interesting players in a very interesting summer. You've still got people like Chong, by the way. What we're going to do with him, I think there's a 5 million deal there to move Chong on. But goes back to what I said before, isn't it? At the start of this season, we had 6 options in the front 3 positions. Greenwood, Rashford, Martial, Cavani, Sancho and Ronaldo. 6. Going into this season, in those front 3 positions, we've got Sancho, Rashford, Ronaldo, Elanga. We're too short. So, are one of those positions going to get taken by a Palestri or an Ahmad or a Chong? And does that make us weak up in them positions? You've got to have 6 players for 3 positions, 2 in each one. I spoke to somebody about this about 3 months ago, and I said, you know what? That was the summer we didn't get Sancho. We got Sancho the following summer. And that was the summer where, because of COVID, the transfer window didn't close till the end of September. And United were looking at a really bad transfer window because they weren't going to get Sancho, and they bought Palestri in and they did this Ahmad deal. And to me, it just stunk of desperation. I think they bought 2 players they didn't have a bloody clue what to do with. And I think that's been proven. Palestri's been stranded out in Spain, and Ahmad's been a bit injured, a little bit here and there. I think that we've wasted those 2 players, and their only rescue package is whether a developer like Ten Hag can do something with their careers now. Because Ahmad, actually, the season before last, scored a very important goal in the Europa League against AC Milan, and was arguably man of the match with Donny against Wolves away as a false 9. So he's gone backwards this year. I don't know what's going to happen with players like that, because I think that the signings were ultimately a mistake. Certainly a mistake on the players' point, because we clearly didn't have a plan for them, and that's been evidenced over the last 2 years. There's still time for them, but it'll be interesting to see what Ten Hag does. He might sell them both. He might loan them both. He might use one. He might use them both. Does a midfield of Fred, De Jong and Bruno excite you, says Salah Ahmed? No. I don't think there's the defensive cover there, unfortunately. Can you check if your sources know anything about Maguire to Barcelona, please, says Lil. I don't think I need to, because I've never heard such bollocks in all my life, really. And on that one, I would rather not waste time trying to find anything out, because if it did happen, it would be a nice story, and if it didn't happen, it's the bollocks we think it is. So, yeah. Chong could be interesting, as Marvellous said. I think that being Dutch, there might be something in him. He's done reasonably well at Birmingham City on loan. He had an injury again. I mean, he is a bit injury prone, but he did reasonably well at Birmingham. And I had high hopes for Chong at one point, but I think there's a bit of money there. I think for me that I think with Chong there's a bit of money there to be made, and even if it's 5 million, it's still a bit of money coming in, isn't it? So it'd be interesting. Any update on Andres Pereira? Is United up for selling him? Not heard anything about him for a while. Also Brandon Williams. I think Brandon Williams is really determined to come back pre-season, like many players are, and prove themselves to Ten Hag. But the problem I have with these players is that ultimately they've not been good enough. And if they have a good pre-season, what does that mean? I mean, you mentioned Pereira. He literally is pre-season Pirlo. It's well known that Pereira plays well in pre-season and then he's absolutely shit in real life. So, I mean, what if Pereira comes back and Eric Ten Hag goes, oh, he looks good. Someone needs to pull him aside and say, Eric, he does this every year. He's brilliant in pre-season and then he's shit in the real season. Don't fall for the trap. Pereira needs to be kicked out. We need to get a bit of money for him. And I think Brandon Williams is an interesting player as well. We could get 15 million for him. I mean, literally, you could get 25 million for Chong, Pereira and Brandon Williams. And I don't think any of those players are a major loss. But 25 million is a big gain, isn't it? So, yeah, you know, I think those sort of things are quite interesting. I don't think Rashford should get another chance, says Graham. Well, I think he will do. I do. Martial wants to leave Devam. I mean, Rangnick wanted to use Martial, but he's just, I think he's had enough. Is De Jong not a defensive player then, says Scott? Well, no, he can play defensive, but the difference between De Jong is De Jong does a lot of damage when he plays in a 2 where he can press, win the ball back in the opposition half and make things happen there. If you stick De Jong in a traditional CDM role like a Matic or a Carrick, they don't really progress into the opposition half. They're there to shield the back 4. So De Jong wouldn't work as a CDM because you'd take away a lot of what his game's about. Pressing, getting the ball, passing. Having said that, I keep saying this, and I don't know whether I'm going to be right on it, but logically I think I will. And I don't think a lot of United fans have thought it through. Because Ollie and Mourinho, to a certain extent, played a deeper line with one holding midfielder or 2, shielding the back 4, and then 2 midfielders didn't really go forward, or McTominay didn't really go forward. People think we need to buy a player like that. We're managed by a completely different manager who plays a completely different way. And if Eric Ten Hag does what is expected, you won't need a CDM who drops in between the centre backs and shields it, because those centre backs will be playing virtually on the halfway line anyway. And the 2 midfielders will be dictating the press. So that's where a De Jong or a Lema or maybe even a Fred could work, where we're not asking them just to sit back and shield. We're asking them to dictate the play. Mank, thank you very much and welcome to the Members Club. Devam as well. And Mank says, would anything happen with Scamacca in your opinion? Says Mank. I don't know, mate. I don't really know. I'd like to think that there might be some surprise signings for Manchester United this summer. There's certainly no reason to expect there not to be. I mean, I can give you 4 signings now. Timber, De Jong, Lema and Nkunku. And I'd be very happy with that summer. But Timber I'm confident about. De Jong we know we want. There's not really about Lema, and Nkunku's very early days. So, and that would be my 4 that I'd be happy with, that I think are realistic. But there's no guarantee that we're going to get any of those players, really, until they've actually signed. And 2 of them are we really in for? So nothing's off the table, which is why when people talk about Torres, I think it's complete bullshit. And I think it's being driven by Villarreal or his agent. But we were linked to him a year ago, and we've got a brand new manager who might have a different idea on things. Until things start to hot up, we just don't know. I'm just going to whack something on the top of the chat while we're talking. I can see Bruno not starting the season for Eric Ten Hag, says Salah Ahmed. Well, look, I don't think anybody gets any divine right to start Manchester United. Anyway, so, you know, it makes sense that maybe a Bruno Fernandes won't play. I certainly think he's got to change his game a lot. Chaitiana, thank you very much for becoming a member there. I've just pinned it at the top of the chat. If you are interested, last few weeks I've done a couple of film watch-alongs on Twitch. So the film actually plays on the screen. You get you get me in the corner above the chat, and we sit and watch a film together. It's not for everybody, I get that, but we've done Jaws 2. Last week we did a poll for Jaws 2 versus Hot Fuzz. We did 3 polls. It got a mess, and we just did Jaws 2. So I said I'd do Hot Fuzz this week. So in about an hour and a half, I'm going to be live on Twitch, 10:30 UK time, watching Hot Fuzz. And now, if you want to get involved in that, click the link in the pinned chat, give me a follow, and then, you know, you can get involved in that. So it's Hot Fuzz tonight, 10:30. Get your popcorn ready, and there's always some football stuff in there. But yeah, if you're into that sort of thing, tune in tonight. Talking about films, rest in peace to Ray Liotta. I know it's not a football thing, but Goodfellas is one of my favourite films. There you go. Donny's going to be a very interesting player, Ike, next season. Yeah, I'm very interested to see what's going to happen with Donny, to be honest with you. We'll see what happens with that. I certainly think he'll be given a chance. I suppose when you're talking about percentages, I'm 99% sure Donny van der Beek will be a Man United player at the start of the season. I don't think he'll be sold. I think he'll be given an opportunity. Whether he'll get a lot of game time or not, look, Ten Hag might look at him and go, you don't suit the Premier League. But let's see what happens. I think it's a good environment for Donny. And remember, all the rumours that were coming out of the training ground, even Luke Shaw said it. They couldn't understand why Donny wasn't getting a chance because he was training well and others were being played. Favouritism. So it might work in the other way for him now. De Jong, Van der Beek could be a favourite of Ten Hag, so we'll have to wait and see. Right, thanks everyone for watching. Make sure you subscribe. We're really close to 347,000, so please subscribe, bottom right corner if you haven't. Loads going on the channel. Any Ericsson, would you want him in the squad? Says 8-Bit Lemon. I think he'll end up going to Brentford, but I would take him on a freebie, definitely. And if you want to join me for a film watch-along, Hot Fuzz at 10:30, I'll be live on Twitch. Just click the link that's on the pinned chat. Give me a follow and you'll get your notification then. Thanks everyone for watching. Obviously, if anything happens with United tonight, we'll go live. But if not, we'll be back tomorrow for the 10 o'clock show. And welcome to the Members Club, George. And don't forget, tomorrow, if you are a member, we've got a cracking exclusive video coming up for you. Voted for it. It's Ten Hag last season, Ajax against Man United net last season. Looking at all the stats, shots per game, pressing, the lot. Really good video. That'll be coming out tomorrow for the members. Take care, everyone. If you're joining me for the watch-along on the film, I'll see you at 10:30. If not, I'll see you tomorrow. Thanks for watching. Take care.